We all know that people love fragrances, bruh. Like, my dad has a whole collection of them. I got some myself. And there are some people that have whole rooms and shelves dedicated to them. America loves fragrances. However, the fragrance ads make absolutely zero sense. What's up, y'all? It's 15, and today we're going to be talking about confusing fragrance ads. And when I say confusing fragrance ads, I basically mean every single fragrance ad there is, bruh. Like, there has not been one fragrance commercial where I actually knew that it was a fragrance commercial until they showed that it was a fragrance commercial. Like, fragrance commercials are so confusing, bruh. They would have, like, some cinematic effects like they was doing a Marvel movie or something. Like, bro, it's a 15-second commercial. It is not a 3-hour showcase, bro. You don't need to put that much effort into something that people aren't even going to worry about. They're worried about the fragrance. And most of the time, the ads have nothing to do with the fragrance. But yeah, I'm gonna keep this short and sweet for y'all, and I'm gonna give y'all 3 of the most confusing fragrance ads I've ever seen in my entire life, and then I'll get out of your hair. So without further ado, let's get to it. It was so hard to narrow this down to 3 fragrance commercials because literally all of them are confusing as heck. Like, there are so many commercials where I thought it was actually a trailer for a movie, but it ended up being something that I can wear. Like, there have been times where I didn't know that it was a fragrance commercial 10 minutes after the commercial showed up. Just like, it shouldn't be that bad. So the most confusing fragrance commercial I've ever seen in my entire life was actually a pretty recent one. It was a Dolce & Gabbana commercial, and I'm gonna try and describe this commercial to y'all. It's finna be a lot of yapping though, so just bear with me. So there was basically a man and a woman traveling somewhere out the country. They were walking down the street, and this man had like a wrap or a cloth or something on his neck. The woman takes it and it just walks off, but the man is like, "Hey, I need that. That's mine. Give it back." So he follows her. The woman puts some black cloth on her head, and then they turn the corner. This man turns the corner, and there are a bunch of women with the exact same dress, exact same black cloth on their head. This man starts looking around, but he only sees different women, and then they start touching his face, and then he starts drowning in hands, stuff like that. And then the camera cuts to the same woman who took his cloth in a whole different ridiculous outfit. And then she smells the cloth, and then it shows that it's a fragrance commercial. What are we doing here? Like, I never thought I would have to say this when it came to fragrance commercials, but this is a new low, man. Like, at this point, I think they're just running out of ideas, and they just went to AI and pressed generate on it. Just like, what makes you think of this? There's no way you thought this by yourself. This is the #1 most ridiculous and confusing fragrance commercial I've ever seen in my entire life. But yeah, there are a whole lot more, but this commercial makes absolutely no sense. How am I supposed to find out that this is a fragrance commercial based on what I just said? Like, how am I supposed to find that out? But they eventually released a commercial where it actually shows the fragrance and the notes using the fragrance, so that was definitely better. So yeah, I guess they redeemed themselves a little bit. But that first commercial, bro, that made 0 sense, bruh. Now, the second most confusing fragrance commercial was actually, it was from a little while back, a couple of months ago. It was a Versace commercial. So there was this big muscular man, right? He had a bow and arrow, and he was in the desert. This man shoots the arrow into the sky, and then he starts running at light speed, bro. I kid you not. He jumps off kind of like a cliff, and then he grabs the arrow and catches it. And then he lands, and then he stares at the sunset, happy with himself. And then it shows you that it's a fragrance commercial. Like, what? What are we doing here? And I know people are finna be in the comments like, you should know it's a fragrance commercial if you just pay attention. There is no way I'm about to find out that that's a fragrance commercial based on what I just described to you. Like, what are we doing here? It gets to a point, dude. Like, you don't have to go over the top for every single commercial. You could just say, hey, there's a new fragrance out. Go ahead and cop it, because it's not going to last long. Instead of making this whole movie trailer. Like, no disrespect, I see all the effort you're putting in, but it's like, we don't need all this. But hey, they're making tons of money off it, so if it works, I guess it works. Now, the third most confusing fragrance commercial I've ever seen in my entire life. This one came out years ago, bro. It's been the same commercial, but just for different fragrances. So there's this man, this emo man, right? He has an electric guitar. He's in the middle of a desert, by the way. It's an arid desert, dry as heck. It hasn't had water in like 5 years. But this man has an electric guitar with speakers and stuff like that. So this man plays the guitar, and then all of a sudden, wolves wake up and start following him, and he walks with them. That's the end of it. What? 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 What are you thinking when you're doing these commercials? Like, do you think it gives you the power to talk with wolves? Like, what are What are we doing here? It's not a special elixir, bruh. You're not getting powers from it. Just say that there's a new fragrance out, bruh. I don't need to see this man walking with wolves to know that the fragrance is out, bro. Just like, no disrespect, but like, we don't need it. Like, it really does get to a point which is like, they're just spamming this stuff over and over again. I don't think I've ever seen a person who makes fragrance commercials actually just like think, hey, instead of doing all this, I could just make a simple ad or a post about how the fragrance is out instead of making a freaking Super Bowl movie trailer. But yeah, that's it for today. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to my channel. That really helped me out. Without further ado, it's 15 and we out here. Peace.